If you're in the second half of life and change has been hitting hard, stay to the end and you'll feel some real relief without pretending everything is fine. Somewhere underneath the noise of everyday life, many people feel it quietly. Time is moving faster than it used to. Weeks disappear, roles shift. The body sends new messages. And if you've been feeling that tightness, like you're bracing for what's next, this is for you. Stay with me, because by the end of this, the grip you feel around change will loosen enough for you to breathe again. Not through denial, not through forced positivity, through clarity. There is an old Buddhist practice that sounds almost too direct at first. It isn't designed to scare you. It's designed to free you. It's called the Five Remembrances, 5 truths to contemplate often, not as a way to become gloomy, as a way to become grounded. The first is simple. The body changes. The second, the body can get sick. The third, life ends. The fourth, we will be separated from what we love. And the fifth, our actions are the one inheritance that truly follows us. If those truths feel heavy, notice what your mind wants to do. It wants to push them away. It wants to say, "Don't talk about this." It wants to keep life comfortable by keeping reality at a distance. But the strange thing is this: keeping reality at a distance does not make you safe. It makes you tense. It makes you live with a quiet fear you can't name, because you never let the truth come into the room. These remembrances do the opposite. They bring the truth into the room, gently, deliberately, so your nervous system can stop wasting energy on avoidance. Here is the first insight. Change is not the problem. Resistance is. Life moves like weather. It's not built like a house. Seasons arrive. Seasons leave. The tide pulls back. The tide returns. When you demand that life stay in one shape, you turn every natural shift into a personal crisis. You turn time into an enemy. You turn your own body into a threat. Most people live like that. They don't say it out loud, but inside there is a constant argument with reality. Not yet. Not me. Not this. And that argument becomes a kind of background anxiety. It lives in the shoulders, in the stomach, in the jaw. When you stop arguing with time, something soft happens. You don't become passive. You become free. Because your energy is no longer spent on trying to freeze life. Your energy becomes available for living. In the second half of life, this matters more than ever, because change is not occasional anymore. It's constant. A medical checkup becomes a new kind of conversation, not necessarily dramatic, just different. A parent ages. A friend moves away. A relationship shifts into a quieter shape. And sometimes the biggest change is internal. You look at the goals that drove you for 20 years, and they don't pull you the same way. That can feel like loss. But it can also be the beginning of wisdom. Here is the second insight. Impermanence doesn't steal joy. It reveals it. There is a certain kind of numbness that comes from assuming you have time. When you assume you have time, you delay your presence. You delay the phone call. You delay the walk. You delay the honesty. You delay the tenderness. You tell yourself, later, next month, when things calm down. But things don't calm down. Life just keeps moving. Impermanence wakes you up. It turns an ordinary morning into something real. You feel the warmth of a cup in your hands. You hear the quiet of your home. You notice the fact that you are here. It turns an ordinary conversation into something more careful. You listen differently when you remember there is no guarantee of later. This is not morbid. It's intimate. It's the difference between sleepwalking through your life and actually being inside it. And that is why this practice is for relief. Because a lot of our suffering is not pain, it's numbness. Pain, at least, is honest. Numbness is being absent from your own life. Here is the third insight. The fear is not getting older. The fear is losing your identity. In the second half of life, many people don't say this out loud, but they feel it. If I'm not as strong, who am I? If I'm not as needed, who am I? If I'm not as productive, who am I? If I'm not the one holding everything together, who am I? The mind grabs onto roles like anchors, and when those roles shift, it feels like the floor moves. This is where impermanence becomes deeply compassionate. It asks you to locate yourself somewhere deeper than your roles. You are not only what you do, you are the one who is aware of what you do. You are not only the story you've told about yourself, you are the one who can see that story. There is a part of you that has been here through every version of your life. It was here when you were young. It was here when you were exhausted. It was here when you fell in love. It was here when you lost something. That part is awareness. Awareness is not positive thinking. It is simply the ability to be present. And in the second half of life, presence is power. Because presence means you can meet the truth without collapsing. It means you can feel sadness without becoming only sadness. You can feel fear without becoming only fear. You can feel change without becoming only change. Modern psychology would call this psychological flexibility, the ability to hold your experience gently and still choose your next step. Impermanence trains that. It trains you to stop trying to make life perfectly stable before you allow yourself to live. Now let's speak about the fourth remembrance, the one that touches love. We will be separated from what we love. Some separations are slow, some are sudden, some are unfair. This is the part where people often either shut down or panic. But there is another way. If you let this truth in, it makes you tender, not weak, tender. Tender means you stop treating people like permanent furniture in your life. Tender means you stop taking ordinary moments for granted. Tender means you forgive faster because you can see how short life is. Tender means you say what matters while you still can. And if you've been through grief, you already know something important. Healing is not linear. You will have days where you feel strong. Then you will have days where you feel it again. You will remember and cry. Then you will laugh at something small and feel confused for laughing. That back and forth is not failure. It is how the mind and body process reality in waves. Grief comes in tides. And if you can stop judging the tide, you can let it move through. Now I want to place a short practice here, not because you need to calm down, but because the point of this video is relief. Take the next breath a little slower than the last one. Let your shoulders drop 1%. Unclench your jaw and silently name what's here. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's sadness. Maybe it's fatigue. Maybe it's that pressure to figure everything out. Just name it. Then add one sentence, quietly, honestly. This too is changing. That phrase isn't magic. It's an orientation. It returns you to reality. And when you are on the side of reality, you stop wasting energy on internal war. Now we come to the fifth remembrance, the one that gives dignity to everything we've said. Our actions are our inheritance, not in a moralistic way, in a liberating way, because it means that even as life changes, you are not powerless. You can still choose the next action. You can still choose the next word. You can still choose the next boundary. You can still choose the next act of care. And this is where the second half of life can become incredibly strong. Because you stop living to impress. You stop living to keep up. You stop living to prove. And you start living to be aligned. Aligned with what you know is right. Aligned with what actually matters. This is what makes a person feel solid. Not certainty, not control. Alignment. So what does this look like tomorrow morning? It looks like noticing the moment you start fighting reality. Maybe it's a number on a report. Maybe it's a comment from someone you love. Maybe it's a feeling in your body you don't want. And when you notice the fight, you don't shame yourself. You simply add a second sentence. I don't like this, and this is what is happening. Then you choose one action that reflects your values, even if the feeling stays. One honest message. One gentle walk. One glass of water. One moment of quiet where you stop trying to outrun your own life. These are small actions, but small actions are what build a stable mind. And now I want to end with the frame that brings everything together. You are not late. You are not broken. You are in a season. Seasons don't ask permission. They arrive. They do their work. They leave. A tree doesn't panic because autumn is here. It lets the leaves fall. It becomes honest about what it can carry. It conserves what matters. And because it does, spring is possible again. So if you're in the second half of life and change has been hitting hard, take one thing from this today. Stop fighting change long enough to feel peace. Not by pretending, not by denying, but by seeing clearly. This too is changing, and you can still meet it with a steady heart. If this helped you, if you felt even a small release, let me know by liking this video. And if you'd like, leave a comment. What's one small change you'll meet instead of fight this week? You're not alone in this. We're learning how to let go. We're learning how to live.